Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Um, this is Suleman Imdad, and today I have decided to share with you my presentation about evil. And this was based on some of my recent experiences at the conference in Tucson, and just like to share it with everyone else. So we have different standards of evil. If you ask the average person outside what they consider to be evil, and they'll probably, or if you ask them, to find, who's the most evil person on earth, and you'll probably hear about some mass murderer or rapist or pedophile or Hitler or someone like that who committed mass killings, and you think that's the most evil, right? But we see, according to the Quran, the criteria of evil is very different. We all know what evil means, and God says the hypocrite men and hypocrite women belong with each other. They advocate evil and prohibit righteousness, and they're stingy. They forgot God, so He forgot them. The hypocrites are truly wicked. The winners. 971. The believing men and women are allies of one another. They advocate righteousness and forbid evil, and they observe the contact prayer, Salat, and give the obligatory charity, Zakat, and they obey God and His messenger. These will be showered by God's mercy. God is Almighty, most wise. So we see that they're the two opposite ends of the spectrum. Believers advocate righteousness and forbid evil, whereas the hypocrites advocate evil and forbid righteousness. So coming back to the most evil, if you were to find out what's the most evil, yes, these mass murderers and killers and people who commit mass genocide, these are all really evil people, for sure, because they hurt a lot of people. But God calls these people the most evil, those who attribute lies to God. God says, those who attribute lies to God are the most evil people. This is given to us in Surah 32, verse 22. Who's more evil than one who's reminded of these revelations of his Lord, then insists upon disregarding them? We will certainly punish the guilty. Who's more evil than one who attributes lies to God while disbelieving in the truth that has come to him? Is hell not a just requital for the disbelievers? And then, who's more evil than one who fabricates lies and attributes them to God, or rejects the truth when it comes to him? Is hell not a just retribution for the disbelievers? So the reason why these people are so evil is because they fabricate lies and attribute them to God, and then millions of people will go to hell because of that, right? What's worse than somebody getting killed in this world and suffering, these worldly temporary sufferings, or people who die and then suffer from eternal hell because of lies that other people created, and they are also affected by it. So that's why God says they're the most evil people on earth. And that's how we know from back in time, like since the beginning of mankind on this earth, the religion gets corrupted because these people start attributing lies to God. So then, among the most evil people, who is the most evil, right? So they're the most evil people, and among them, there are people that are more evil than the rest, and they're the most evil. And we see in Surah 6, verse 93, talks about false messengers being condemned. Who's more evil than one who fabricates lies and attributes them to God, or says, I have received divine inspiration, when no such inspiration was given to him, or says, I can write the same as God's revelations? If only you could see the transgressors at the time of death. The angels extend their hands to them, saying, let go of your souls. Today you have incurred a shameful retribution for saying about God other than the truth, and for being too arrogant to accept His revelations. And also the footnote for 26:110 says, a false messenger is a messenger of Satan. for he is the fabricator of the most horrendous lie. Such a messenger can never denounce idolatry or preach the worship of God alone. So the most evil, the most horrendous lie about God that anybody can make is to say that they're a messenger from God. That's the most evil of the most evil. So I had this recent experience now that I wanted to share with you all, and this is unfortunately about Sam Khalifa claiming to be a messenger. Now this person was the son of Rashad Khalifa, who was a messenger of God, who brought incontrovertible physical evidence that he was a messenger from God, and he dedicated his life to promoting the religion. However, someone like Sam obviously is not a messenger, and he claims he's a messenger, but he doesn't have any proof. And he doesn't promote the message of God alone because, as I will explain to you, he wants to be idolized. And he's trying to stop the message of God from spreading openly and freely. So, many years ago, this rumor came about that he proclaimed to be a messenger and later on apologized when confronted, and there's some other rumors that he claimed he was a messenger and then it was retracted. And so then recently, about 2 years ago, this thing surfaced. So I decided to call him and verify for myself, and I'd like to share with you that call right now.
What enemy is this?
Hello?
Hey, no answer, huh?
Hello?
Okay, scary cat. Bye.
Hello?
Yeah, who is this?
Can you hear me?
Who is this? Who is this?
It's Solomon.
I hope this is Ali Reza. Is this Ali Reza?
No, this is Solomon.
Solomon. Who's that?
Solomon Imdad?
Oh, okay. What do you need?
So I believe you left me
You're
some
calling from a private number?
Yes.
Well, why is that?
Just, I don't know. Is that a problem? I don't like to disclose.
Yeah, why don't you call me from a number that I know the number?
I could, but I mean, I don't know if that will make a difference.
Why don't you do that? If you want to talk, call back from your number. That way I'll have it.
You already, have all my contact information.
You have a question for me?
Oh, I do, yeah. I just wanted to verify something for myself because I don't want to believe in I don't want to believe in rumors and stuff like that. And
I have a very good answer for you. What is your question?
Okay, my question is about you. Are you a messenger of God?
Is that your question?
Yes, and I would like a straight answer.
Here's my answer.
I would like a straight answer.
Yeah, here's my answer to your question.
Okay.
Your proofs, everything, are in the heavens and the earth and the creation of the heavens, the earth, the people, the sun, and the moon. And you go and you look around and you figure it out.
Figure out what? Okay. So now that I have proven that he claims to be a messenger, one must ask, if this person thinks he's a messenger, what is his job and what has he done in the past years as a messenger? And we see that, he claims to be a treasurer of submission. Like Joseph was appointed treasurer, he claims that God appointed him as a treasurer of submission. And all he has done in this whole time is not to spread God's message, but prevent other people from spreading it. And, using the copyright that, was given to him. So Dr. Khalifa, in an effort to protect the integrity of the message, copyrighted his work so that nobody else can take the claim for it and say they discovered it, or print his translation as their own translation, and use that as a business, for example. And so he copyrighted his work so his work could be protected, And but obviously we have examples of people like other organizations that have changed the mathematical miracle, like people connected with submission.org. And Sam Khalifa will not take any action against them because he says they're his family, and will not go after them at all, and would not prevent them from promoting their work on any of the platforms. The only exception, because they're his family. Now, um, according to the Quran, what is a messenger of God? We know the messengers of God provide tangible evidence, they provide proof. They don't tell you to go look around, look at the sun and the moon and the stars and the planets and the birds and the bees, and you know, they don't do that. They provide evidence, physical, incontrovertible proof, like Dr. Rashad Khalifa did, that he was a messenger of God. Powerful evidence. Number two, they do not ask for a wage. So I have personally talked to Sam, and he told me, like, why do you have to build all these apps? If you want to spread God's message, just give me money, and I'll spread the message. And also, the messengers of God will promote the worship of God alone. So we know that if you want to promote God's message, you don't care whether it's coming through you or through anyone else. You just want God's message to be sent. But it seems like the important being here is Sam, because everything has to be done by him and has to go through him, and money has to be given to him. In fact, Sam asked for money using hadith attributed to Dr. Rashad Khalifa. And this is something that is also quite unfortunate. So they say that we should, according to Rashad Khalifa, there's not verifiable, and I'm 100% sure it's a lie. But it goes something like this: we should always ask for money for the message of Quran, because people will not value it otherwise or appreciate it. And so that means that if you pay for a Quran, you cannot. It means that if you pay for a Quran, you cannot pass it to your friend for free, or he will not appreciate it, and you dare not oppose the messenger of God. So I mean, this is a complete violation of the Quran. The messenger of God could not possibly make such laws or even ask for money. But what Sam unfortunately has said is that people should charge a wage for the Quran, because otherwise people will not appreciate it. So, but we know from history, when a messenger goes to his people, he doesn't say, "Give me money. I got some news for you that can save you and give you eternal life." A messenger says, "Hey, this is the message. Worship God alone, and do your contact prayers," and he gives them the full message. And this is what Dr. Khalifa did. Yes, he charged money to print the Qurans that he printed, but that was because you had to pay for the printing press. You would print the Qurans in bulks, and unless you had your own publisher who would do it for you too, right? So, but now it's different. Now we can print the Qurans electronically. We can put out apps for free, and electronic books that doesn't cost you a dime once they're published. And so they can be given away for free with very little effort on part of the people who develop it. And I kind of did the same thing. I built some apps, put out some books, and it's there so people can promote the message freely, and God's message can flourish around the world. And mashallah, it is being flourished. But people like that are actually being an obstacle in the message being propagated. In fact, one of the biggest platforms today for reading books, at least in the United States, is Amazon. And of all the electronics books that are read on different platforms, 70% of the books are read on Kindle. And Sam, with the help of his agent, got the Qurans taken down from Amazon, and as a result, we don't have Qurans available. The only Qurans that are available on Amazon Prime are that of submission.org, which they wouldn't dare take down. So just all based on this idea that money has to be given to Sam for anything that goes out to people. So even like the videos and stuff, it says it doesn't need to be on YouTube and stuff. So many people I know that got the message from these videos, and if these videos weren't available freely on YouTube, they wouldn't have gotten the message. I mean, we have all these traditional Muslim, corrupted translations of the Quran that are available on the internet all around the world for free. And so why would someone pay money to download a translation unless they're already a submitter? So that kind of defeats the purpose of having the message out there. So Satan cannot stop the message completely. So he's trying all these tricks to sort of minimize the effect. We have many examples in the Quran, many verses in the Quran where we know that the messengers of God do not ask for a wage. Surah 6 verse 90 says, "These are the ones guided by God. You shall be guided in their footsteps. Say, I do not ask you for any wage. This is but a message for all the people." 1072, "If you turn away, then I have not asked you for any wage. My wage comes from God. I have been commanded to be a submitter." And 1129 says, "O my people, I do not ask you for any money. My wage comes only from God." So also 1151, "O my people, I do not ask you for any wage. My wage comes only from the one who initiated me. Do you not understand?" And then 12104 says, "You're not asking them for any money. You simply deliver this reminder for all the people." 3447, "Say, I do not ask you for any wage. You can keep it. My wage comes only from God. He witnesses all things." So the idea that you need to ask people for money and there has to be a download fee is actually a trick of Satan, and basically something that a false messenger is doing, and they're incapable of preaching God alone without asking for a wage. Now, whether they claim to be a messenger or not publicly is another story, but the fact that they're charging people a wage for God's message, shows the evilness itself. 2557 says, "Say, I do not ask you for any money. All I seek is to help you find the right path to your Lord, if this is what you choose." And then 3621 says, "Follow those who don't ask you for any wage and are guided." 3886 says, "Say, I do not ask you for any wage and I'm not an impostor." And there are many other verses like that, throughout the Quran. So what does God say about people like that? In Surah 58, verse 22, God tells us to run for our lives. It says, "You will not find people who believe in God and the last day, befriending those who oppose God and His messenger, even if they were their parents, or their children, or their siblings, or their tribe. For these He decrees faith into their hearts, and supports them with inspiration from Him, and admits them into gardens with flowing streams wherein they abide forever. God is pleased with them, and they are pleased with Him. These are the party of God. Most assuredly, God's party are the winners." So this is God's recommendation to us. When we see people who are opposing God and His messenger, we run for our lives from these people. We don't care their parents or children or siblings or our tribe. We run from them, so that doesn't mean anything. We just run for our lives. We don't befriend these people. Now, but when we see the reactions of Masjid Tucson, it's a completely different story. Masjid Tucson, Sam Khalifa who lives in Tucson and practices in Masjid Tucson, has full support of Masjid Tucson, and this is evident in the communications. In fact, I just received this email from Masjid Tucson on my way to the conference when I was on my way to the airport. It says, "We regret to inform you that you're not invited to the 2019 ICS conference, please note that the conference is by invitation only. It is not only that we are concerned about your intentions, but also that we partner with a hotel to host the conference. The hotel management was very concerned when they found out that someone who's violated the law is planning on attending. Now, by this they mean have built apps that have the Quran in it. So in the hotel, they made the hotel sound very concerned, which was a lie, by the way. Very concerned that I plan on attending. They informed us they take the safety and welfare of their staff and organization very seriously and have liability concerns to account for. In summary, please do not come. Well, I don't know what that meant, but about the hotel's liability. The hotel is nothing as far as copyright law goes. But this was put in place to try to deter me from coming to the conference. And then I was at the conference. I was asked to leave several times, and then one of the contemporary ladies from the same organization sent me another email, sort of passive aggressive, and asking me to remove all that material, remove all the apps, the websites, the books of the Quran, everything, just take it down, suggesting that my current miseries are God's retribution because I'm not obeying this person. So, I don't know about you guys, but, if you find out someone's a messenger of Satan and he's telling you to do something, you better not do it, There's a reason he's telling you to do it. And I know that this is God's message, and God's messenger would be very happy to see God's message being flourished and distributed around the world. I was actually appalled by the audacity of the same person. I'm not sharing their actual hadith, but they created a bunch of hadith in double quotes to say this is if the messenger was alive, this is what he would say, and this is what he would say. And he said, it was just so bizarre to read it. Like, I was so shocked. I was really shocked because it was just like in double quotes. The messenger was alive, he would have said this. And everything that was said was in like first person form as if the messenger was saying it. But in fact, it wasn't the messenger, it was the same person who was making up this stuff. It was pretty disgusting, actually. So at today's Masjid Tucson, when I went there, I was still shocked. I shouldn't be, but I was. God tells us in the Quran that idol worshippers are not to frequent God's masjids in Surah 9, verse 17 and 18.
1 second.
However, we see that...
Just a moment.
Sorry, my Siri is acting up. Okay. Yes. So we see that in Surah 9, verse 17 and 18, that the idol worshippers are not to frequent God's masjids. However, we see that the false messengers and anyone who fabricates lies about God is welcome to these masjids and give speeches and lead the prayers. We saw so many speeches at this conference by people who fabricated lies, so many lies to God. There were speeches about not listening to audios and videos, so much nonsense. We've heard blasphemous speeches in the past, and all those people are welcome. Actually, they have blogs about stuff that clearly goes against the message. And this false messenger was leading the night prayer, and there was other person led the prayer. He even prays in the wrong direction. He prays northeast instead of southeast in the United States. And he was leading another prayer. And so, and all these people are welcome to the masjid. And so here I am, first, before I even decided to go, I was told I cannot give a speech. Then, when I was on my way to the airport, I was told I was not welcome and I shouldn't be coming. Then, when I got to the conference, I was repeatedly asked to leave. Then, also, at the last day of the conference, I was actually barred from entering the masjid, even though I did not. I was very peaceful this whole time I was there. I was told that I cannot come to the masjid. And I said, well, I'm not planning to go, but I would if I wanted to. And they said I cannot because it's private property. And I told them, I said if I wanted to come, I would. That's fine. And I was barred from entering the masjid because I'm not obeying this false messenger in taking down the message from the various platforms. And when someone asked them, if I could lead one of the prayers, they said no, because if I did, Sam would get very upset and would not talk to them for the rest of their lives, which is pretty dramatic if you ask me. But and the fact that I wasn't allowed to come to masjid, and here you have a false messenger who's claiming to be a messenger, is allowed to give sermons, and all sorts of lies are being spread, and they're talking about love and treating each other in the best possible manner, and this doesn't make sense, so but God's, no matter what people do, God always has a plan, and what God wills happens, and what God wills prevails, and nobody can do anything against God's plan. When Dr. Rashad Khalifa was alive, for example, the world was out there to want to kill him. All the Saudis were after him, but he had a purpose in life that God had chosen for him, and he fulfilled his purpose, and nobody could do a thing. And his plan continues for the message. Just because the messenger of the covenant dies, doesn't mean that Satan can control the message by putting up these fake entities to, create obstacles in people's paths. We know that as far as Dr. Khalifa goes, he was inspired by God, and it was God's promise to him, and he stressed that it wasn't his wishful thinking, that submission will prevail in 50 years' time. And this was roughly about 30 years ago. So we can rest assured that in about 20 years or so, God willing, submission will prevail. So I think it's only for us, we'll have to see if, God will accept it from us. Obviously, God's plan continues. If we don't do it, God will replace someone else who will do it. But nevertheless, we can be assured that God will allow his message to prevail and his victory will come, God willing. Satan's message has been very clear, which is to demonize others who try to strive to promote his message, try to promote the truth, and stop them in their tracks. Surah 61, verse 7 and 8 says, "Who's more evil than one who fabricates lies about God and he's being invited to submission? God does not guide the evil people." 61:8, "They wish to put out God's light with their mouths, but God insists upon perfecting his light in spite of the disbelievers." 48:28, the great prophecy. "He's the one who sent his messenger with the guidance and the religion of truth to make it prevail over all other religions. God suffices as a witness." And the footnote says that this important prophecy informs us that submission will inevitably dominate the whole world. This, together with verses 9:33, 41:53, and 61:9, leave no doubt that God's mathematical miracle of the Quran will play a major role in this prophecy. Solid Quranic mathematical evidence points to God's messenger of the covenant as fulfilling this prophecy. See Appendices 2 and 26 for the evidence and specific details. Thank you for watching, and I hope that this speech has made some impact in your understanding, in your perspective about what's happening in the world today as far as submission is concerned. And there's a good reason for everything, and I hope I made some impact somewhere, hopefully. If not, I just thought I did what I was supposed to do, and the rest is up to God. Thank you very much for watching. God bless you guys.